And action.
Did it beep?
Yeah,
You won't hear it, there's no headphones on.
Welcome to our first Ramadan special of Habano del Podcasto. And we're here after Iftar, before Sahur.
Yep.
And it's the first Friday of Ramadan. And we
Yes.
have a very special episode for you all. We have a lovely lineup of cigars that we're going to smoke.
Yes.
They have very kindly been gifted to us by a friend of the pod, Stuart,
Mr. Stuart.
from Glasgow, Scotland. He has sent over a lovely collection of limited edition Cubans for us to smoke, and through the help of one of our colleagues, we had a draw as to who was going to smoke which cigar, and
I'll let you guys know which ones they are now.
we
And just, I'm sorry to interrupt, but just shout out to Stuart. I've never put on, or not never. It's been at least a year and a half since I wore a tie, and I'm like, you know what? For this episode, I'm gonna put a tie on because I've never smoked a limited edition. So just a shout out to Stuart, and we mentioned whenever you're in Dubai, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, definitely. And we were just watching on YouTube a review of Stuart's new cigar brand. I think it's called SW. It's a Cuban cigar brand that he's launched. So we're looking forward to hopefully smoking that as well soon.
Yep.
We'll
yep,
put the link
definitely.
up in the description.
We'll put the link up in the description, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Are we going to get an affiliation link?
I hope so. I hope so.
No, I mean, Stuart already provided us with amazing smokes for today, so I think he's done his fair bit for this time. But yeah. Again, you were talking about the draw that we did. I think the big part of why we did that draw with Kanan Keeley was because we knew that if we leave it to Tallham, he's just gonna take all three and run away, like he did previously. I'm not gonna say
No,
exactly
those
when
ones
or what happened, but
I'm keeping them. You know, if
Oh,
you're
thank you.
talking in regards to the cigars that were generously given to us by Atraed and by Abdu from the Leaf Master episode. Yes, they're with me in my humidor, and once we have
The unspoken.
I'm just keeping them.
you know,
Just as long as the both of you just stay on your best behavior.
I love how he says
let you
like,
smoke
no,
them.
I didn't take them. I'm just keeping them. Like if a thief goes to a vault in a bank, runs away with $1 million, it's like, guys, I'm
look,
just keeping them.
We were gifted those sticks. It's not like I went into Leaf Master and I stole them.
Technically, you make it sound like you were gifted those cigars. But anyways, I'm not gonna get more into this. I'm just kidding with you. It's the Ramadan spirit of sharing, but you don't really want to take that spirit.
My daughter started randomly just saying sharing is caring.
Oh, really?
This is what
Which one?
2.5-year-old.
You want her to teach Tallham that?
Yeah, I think so. But the thing is, when she's eating something and we're like, okay, now sharing is caring, she's like, no. So
exactly.
it's like
Joey does
Tallham.
not share food.
Exactly. Sharing is caring, except when it's my food.
Exactly.
And that's Tallham with his cigars.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna jump into the sticks. I'm really excited for these ones. So if you can take a look here. So the three sticks that we have are Partagas edition Limitada 2020, which Adham got in the draw, and Omar got the Upmann Connossieur B in the draw. Here you go. And with me, I drew the stick that I actually wanted to smoke, which is the Ramon Allones, the 90th anniversary of Sir Henry, Exclusivo Alemania.
These are
Just to let you guys know where we haven't smelled these. We haven't. I haven't seen any of the notes online. So I'm going into this completely blind, by the way.
I think Omar has been smelling them every day ever since he got them. To be honest, I don't know. I was like, oh, we haven't smelled these. Like,
I'll literally be smelling them every day.
all right, I think I'm gonna start because I am getting something I haven't gotten before.
Oh,
Much.
this is really sweet.
Same as this. I am getting a kick of honey. Like I smell honey. I smell cocoa. It's just a stick of honey.
I'm getting some cocoa.
No, with me it's a dark sweetness, almost like a caramel on mine.
There's a bit of earthness in this as well, but mainly it's honey.
I'm gonna say it. Mine smells.
Is it leathery? Is it leathery?
It's a little bit leathery.
Now you have to say it.
It's, it's leathery.
It's leathery.
It smells so good. I don't want to smoke it.
Oh
like
man.
I don't want to light it up. But I think we owe it to Stuart to smoke those and tell him how it goes.
100%. Oh man.
I'm so tempted to do a straight cut on this, but I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm really
I know
scared to do that.
I've always had bad luck with straight cuts, generally speaking. So what I'm going to
Because you're not a straight guy.
attempt
Ooh.
is to do it
Clean cut.
with a punch,
Mm.
and if the draw is tight, I'm gonna go with a V on mine.
Oh, nice.
See, it's a bit tight, the draw, but I don't think it's that kind of tight where you need a Cuban fixer with this one. It's, you know, the tightness you get from a really good, well constructed cigar.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from this.
What's your cold draw?
Mm. I'm
Mine
getting
is so sweet.
Mine is earthy. It's
yeah, I'm getting notes of earth and dried fruit from mine.
it's a bit peppery as well. Like a bit
Yeah,
spicy.
I'm getting very, very like berries.
But
You get some pepper in it?
I'm getting pepper on my lips.
Oh yeah. Like
So-
a
so-
slight spiciness.
So I did a bit of research on mine.
I thought
This
you
is a
didn't.
full body smoke. Which one?
I thought you didn't. You just said that you don't know the notes of it.
No, not yeah. I didn't look at the review of the cigar of
Yeah.
people smoking it, but I reviewed
Okay.
the cigar itself,
Okay,
which
I'm
I
sorry.
think
Yeah.
that we all were supposed to do before we started this episode.
No way.
Yeah. So with mine, so generally with Ramon Allones, they're full body smokes.
Yeah.
So this particular one was made in honor of Sir Henry Villager, or Henrich Villager. I'm sorry for butchering the pronunciation. And he was probably it was made in honor of his 90th birthday, and he
90th.
yes 90, and he was one of the big names in the Cuban cigar industry in Europe specifically. He was the first one that partnered up with Habano, and they were the exclusive the distributors of Cuban cigars in Germany and Austria and Poland.
Mm.
So so they like made 18,000 of these in 2020, I believe.
I wonder what the box date is on that cigar. I think these are all probably a few years old.
Yeah. So if I recall, this one was aged 2 years, if I recall. Don't quote me on that. But generally, what I understand with limited edition smokes, they are slightly aged.
Before roll as well, right?
Yeah.
Or they roll
No,
it
no,
and
I
they
think
age it.
that
Before
they roll
rolling
it and then age it, or
No, I think they age
They
it,
roll-
age
and
the
then roll
tobacco
it.
and then
exactly,
roll it.
age the tobacco and then they roll it.
They let it hang in one of their cellars.
You can have the lighter, please.
I'm done with this one. You can have this.
So you're saying yours is quite full-bodied, as
Yeah,
in the
that's
brand.
exactly. What do you wanna? I'm
Whereas-
pretty excited, like to
Yeah.
hear about the H Upmann because it's one of my favorite Cuban brands.
So H. Upmann, so like you were saying, your brand is generally full body. My H. Upmann is generally light to medium
Mm-hmm.
because it was started off by a German banker back in the 1800s, and his whole thing was he went to Cuba, created a cigar brand, and started gifting away boxes to his clientele. And in Europe, they generally liked light to medium bodied cigars, so they started giving them away to their friends, their clients. Eventually, it became so popular that Spain gave them a royal warrant, and that's why they have a crown in their brand, on their logo. And it was very much smoked by the high society of Europe in the 1800s.
And what's so special about the connoisseur B in particular?
So H. Upmann brought out a Connoisseur A in the early 2000s, and this is their second limited edition, which is called the Connoisseur B. It came out, I think, 2016. The whole point being, it's only exclusively sold through not Habano del Podcasto.
One day.
You wish.
Yeah, Casa del Habano. It's sold through them, so they have a double sticker on them. One sticker is their brand, and the second one is showcasing the Habana Cuba sticker, which means that they're exclusively sold through their own retail brand. And the initial draw on this is incredible.
Wow, that is insanely smooth.
Yeah, I'm getting a very smooth tobacco note on this in the initial draw.
There's not a hint of
that's beautiful.
pepper on mine.
Yeah, zero pepper on mine.
There's a bit of like a sweet bitterness on my lips that I can't explain. Is it the same with you?
It reminded me of grapefruit. You know,
Me-
it's sour, bitter, and a bit sweet.
Yeah, this is on my lips. But the cigar itself is very with the finish is long, but it's not spicy at all.
So with the Partagas limited edition 2020, it actually got a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people, they loved it, but a lot of people also were saying that it's not it's underwhelming for a Partagas limited edition. But honestly, I have no idea what they have been smoking because this is just stunning. It's one of the best smokes I've had in my life. A lot of people actually did applaud how the burn is super even on this one, which means that the construction was close
Spot
to
on.
perfect. Exactly. And there's not much of them around anymore. There are people that are selling them for around $2,000 a box of 25.
Bro.
But of course, it's secondary market. You don't find them that much. It got a score of 92 on the
Cigar Aficionado?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this the first Partagas that you've smoked?
No,
It's not.
I've smoked the Partagas that Omar gave me one of the days that we went out to smoke. The three of us. He had a small Partagas D,
Yeah.
and I smoked that one.
And you remember it.
Honestly speaking, I don't remember it that much back then
It
because
was
it was
too
like
early in
It
your.
was
exactly
early.
it was like
Yeah.
second or third
Yeah.
smoke. It's memorable because Omar gave me the smoke. It's not memorable because of the smoke itself. But with this one, I think I've never smoked something that is as smooth as this
Yeah.
cigar in my hand. It's not harsh. You know how you get some harshness from cigars usually, especially if you. And I told this to Tallham the other day. The differences between lighting your cigar with a soft flame or a jet flame, at least in the first couple draws. Jet flame makes it so harsh in the beginning because you're burning the tobacco, you're not toasting the tobacco. And I've tried that with the Jose El Piedra where I smoked it with a jet flame and then the next day I smoked it with a match.
Yeah.
And the difference was it's a completely different cigar all the way through as well. Um, but with this one, that harshness that you get with lighting a cigar from a jet flame is minimal. I think it's because of the smoothness of the tobacco itself in it, so it reduces that harshness. But I wish we had soft flames with us
Yeah.
to light those up.
I think you can taste that Cuban twang with this particular cigar.
It's with me. It it presents itself as a bready note.
Hmm.
It's like toasted bread, and it's very fleeting on the palate. And it's not every Cuban, but like generally with the majority of Cubans I smoke, it has that kind of like a very like light,
Yeah.
it's almost a buttery kind of note on the palate.
So what I've learned is see if you hold the cigar just under where it's lit, and if it's too hot to hold, that means you're smoking it too fast.
Oh, really?
You need to rest it, please.
I think generally we as a podcast tend to smoke our cigars quite fast.
Yeah.
Because we're talking and we're smoking at the same time. But yeah,
And what I noticed is, when you're looking at your ash, and you can actually see the redness
Yeah.
of the flame, the cherry, inside the ash. That's where I like to rest my cigar a bit,
yeah,
and then take a draw when I completely can't see the
That-
cherry
yeah.
anymore. And I've told this also to Tolham the other day is that when I was taking the draw, when I couldn't see the cherry beneath the ash, taking the draw was cool. It's like I'm breathing cool air from outside. I didn't feel that even the draw was hot. The smoke coming out into my mouth, it wasn't hot. It was cool, and it gave you the actual notes that you want to kind of taste.
Definitely. If you let it rest, then I think you get more of the flavor. And yeah, so this particular cigar room that we're in has a large painting of Churchill, Winston Churchill, and H. Upmann has a cigar called the Sir Winston, which is a Churchill-sized cigar. And supposedly Churchill loved the H. Upmann so much that even during World War II, he used to send his spies to Havana to secure supply.
Really? I always thought, or like, or no, or the famous story I heard was that the size, the Churchill was named after Churchill, and it was
Yeah.
with Romeo and Julietta's were the ones that he used to smoke. But
I
I'm
think-
pretty sure they had probably a bunch
Maybe.
of stuff.
But I think maybe somebody who's listening to the pod can
Yeah.
let us know what they think. Because H. Upmann has a fascinating history. I've just been reading about it in the last couple of weeks. So one was obviously Sir Winston Churchill and his and supposedly because he was sending his spies to the H. Upmann factory in Havana, that became a base for the British spies in World War II.
No way.
Yeah, and also what I was learning was, you know how when America put the embargo
On
on
Cuba.
Cuba, at the time the president was JFK,
Yeah.
and he loved the H. Upmann Petite Coronas so much that before he signed the bill for the embargo, he sent his aide to buy thousands of those
Of those sticks.
many cigars, and only when they came into his office, he then signed the embargo.
He made sure that humidor is his
full,
humidor is
yeah.
full, and then he did that.
Oh, but the Churchill story is pretty crazy. Like, just imagine being a prime minister
Yeah.
and sending spies
You have a bunch of spies sitting
to
around.
satisfy a personal craving of yours. That's hilarious.
Because he said that the cigars kept his brain fresh and focused.
Yeah, I'm pretty
and
sure
he
they
needed
did.
them for his work.
Okay. Whatever you say.
And also, so the H. Upmann family owned the cigar brand, but then when H. Upmann died, his nephew took over. Eventually, they sold it to a cigar company, and eventually it was nationalized. Habano's HASA took over, and that's then they just carried on the name.
Didn't the family start growing tobacco in Dominica or in Nicaragua
No, so they sold
after
it
that, or
they sold it back early 1900s.
and that was it.
That was it. Their involvement finished.
So
It's
they
just
never
the name.
like you know
No.
like the Davidoff story.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how it was in Cuba, but then
They left and they went to Dominica.
they left and started growing.
So
So it's not like that.
just the name carried on, and also the history of the mild to medium cigars carried on with the H. Upmann story.
For a medium to medium full cigar, this is light. I think the smoothness makes it.
That's a full body.
It is?
Yeah, it's Partagas, man. It's
So
a full body.
I've heard this is actually the level above full body.
No way. I thought it's medium to medium full because
Partagas are like known to be full
I'm
body
not feeling
smokes.
it. It feels smooth. It's
But by the way,
this is my favorite. So my birthday is coming up.
Yeah.
Guys, by the way,
yeah, it is.
and this is my favorite cigar. So
That's a nice story.
I know. Let's make it a reality.
I'll have to call Stuart and be like, "You got any more of those Partagas?"
What's a box of those? $2,000. Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
okay.
I talked to Stuart, not to us. But I was about to say, yeah, it's just generally speaking, the strength of a smoke doesn't necessarily coincide, or it's not proportional to the smoothness or to the harshness.
The
I'm
body,
not
though.
talking
The strength versus body.
Yeah. So the body, from what I understand from the ride when we were speaking, so the body of a smoke is technically how many flavors that you can pick up, how sophisticated is the kind of buildup of notes in the cigar, and the strength is basically just
How much nicotine you
straight
feel.
up the effects of the nicotine on you, and Partagas. Almost every one I've smoked, by the end of it, you have a head rush with Partagas.
By the way, speaking of Raed and Abdu, if you guys haven't listened to our previous episode, it's a special episode where we're honored to have Raed and Abdu from the Leaf Master Dubai, one of the best, I would say, cigar retailers and shops, or humidors, walk-in humidors as they call it.
Of New World Cigars.
Of New World Cigars, exactly, in the UAE. They just opened up a new branch in Abu Dhabi, which looks stunning. We've discussed a lot of things with them. We've discussed how they actually went ahead from becoming, or from being a corporate gentleman into the world of cigars and having opened their own cigar shop. So make sure you check it out. And yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely episode because we went to Ride's house and we set up next to a swimming pool. And it was a lovely winter's morning. We sat there, smoked our cigars, had a lovely chat with Ride and Abdul, and learnt so much from these guys.
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable. It was like a university lecture. And we're hoping to continue a series with them, where hopefully we regularly speak to them and pick their brains, get some knowledge from them, because they have so much more knowledge than us, and we'd love to share that with our viewers.
I think all of us are comfortably in the first thirds, and I'm curious to know, if yours have changed in flavor at all.
um I'm getting, what do you call it, that numbness or tingleness at the back of your mouth.
That's pepper.
Pepper. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm
so
getting a
that's tingling,
just a slight hint of that now. I
a
didn't get it
touch
in the,
of pepper,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. But other than that, it's still as is. It's getting a bit more creamy. Um, Retrohale wise, I didn't get much of notes from the retrohale. Anything different from the actual Joe?
With me, it's the bread notes are very prominent.
See, the bread notes, I think I've seen them online being described as like graham cracker.
The thing is with me, I don't get, or I'm not very generally with sweet notes. My palate doesn't pick them up that easily.
Yeah.
So I think what I might describe as bread, and like what you mentioned, a lot of the reviews that I read as well of Cubans mention sweet notes like graham crackers, but I've generally not had a lot of graham crackers, like, to know
Yeah.
what that flavor is. But I'm a bread guy, generally speaking, like, so I can tell the difference between if it's a rye bread, or if it's like a sourdough, a kind of
Yeah.
a bread. You know what I mean? And generally, with this one, I'm getting, whenever I get bread notes, it's usually it's accompanied with woody notes or with nutty notes.
Yeah.
These three flavors profiles for me are quite interlinked. So it's with the way that I like to kind of taste my cigars, just to kind of just see what that transition is from when you take that draw initially, then when you release that smoke, and then just with the finish itself, to just concentrate on what you're tasting on your palate after you've let that smoke out. And a lot of the times you can pick up on slight nuanced changes in your flavors.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm getting
with the H. Upmann, I'm really curious because it's one of my favorite sticks.
I'm getting some coffee. I think I'm getting coffee with a little bit of like cracker.
Like sweet cracker.
Yeah,
Oh man,
it's beautiful.
I love H. Upmann.
It's so like coffee. When you're drinking coffee, if you have a dark roast, generally you can't pick up any particular notes. Like if you have an Italian dark roast coffee, you won't get notes of berries. But if you have a light roast, you can generally pick up notes of the berries, citrus. And I think this is what it is with cigars as well, because it's a light medium bodied cigar. You can get a lot more of the nuanced flavors, and I think that's what I'm getting here.
No, with me it's very smooth. I'm not getting any pepper. I'm expecting a bit of pepper at some point with this.
Yeah.
Because generally it's a full body stick. But until now, I'm not getting any pepper.
I've got a question for you guys. So, a cigar is literally 4 or 5 different leaves put together, rolled together into a cigar, and people are getting notes of, asparagus or pepper,
Coconut, I've heard.
coconut,
Some, yeah.
coffee. Do you think when people are eating asparagus, they're like, I'm getting notes of H. Upmann, Sir Winston. I'm getting notes of the Partagas P2. And then this is kind of new world. I'm getting a bit of Arturo Fuente.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think with flavors are kind of a bit inbuilt into your it probably goes back into your childhood in a way. Because so with our relationship with food begins practically early on in life, but your experiences with a cigar is practically at the age of legal smoking age. You know what I mean?
Absolutely right. And also at the same time, you always associate flavors with food. That's where you learn about flavors. It's because of food.
Because of food, yeah.
And then you go ahead and explore more stuff, and then you start associating those stuff with actual flavors that you learned from food.
Yeah.
Right?
And like with you have a 2-year-old and I have a 1-year-old, and just watching children experience food, especially when they first start eating and to kind of watch that transformation of what they like, what they don't like. It's quite interesting. Like my daughter early on doesn't like milk at all, like any kind of milk, and in my head I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My daughter loves her nuggets and fries, but she's going through a phase where she only wants McDonald's fries.
Oh, really? So she can pick up the difference?
Literally. Like, we're trying to give her other fries, she won't eat them.
So no Burger King, no Hardee's,
like
only McDonald's.
Bake fries or whatever, no. She only wants the McDonald's ones.
Did you try the curly fries from Hardee's?
I don't know, I need to...
it'll change your life, maybe. I love those fries.
I don't know. Every new day, I read more about cigars. I get to know more about it. Get to know more about the craftsmanship behind cigars and the art behind it. It is an amazing thing.
Can you tell us more about like limited edition? How often do they bring out limited edition cigars? Do they bring out like a yearly Partagas limited edition or?
I haven't done that. Like, I haven't found out that much about it from the research I did, but I know that I have a Partagas limited edition 2010 at my place.
Okay.
That I'm saving. So I think they don't do it every year.
Yeah.
Again, I might be wrong. I'll find out more after this episode and tell you. But in general, I haven't seen any limited editions in any of the humidors I go to.
Yeah.
Like, even like here, I see at least there's a lot of limited editions for the Chinese New Year's.
That's
They're not limited
Davidoff.
editions. They're Davidoffs. And there's also other stuff that they do the same thing. Not Davidoffs.
Really?
I think Davidoff do a yearly year of the Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's limited edition or just the packaging is.
Yeah.
No, it's
related
a
to
limited.
that.
It's technically it's so basically it's a limited edition because they're like not making a lot of them. That's number one, and they're only making them in that 1 year. So the next, for example, with Davidoff, it's Year of the Snake. Last year was Year of the Dragon, I believe. So, so with every year, it's a different blend, and and they're not gonna make them as extensively as their as usual lines. I'm pretty excited. This year on one of the episodes, I think we're gonna smoke You're the snake. Hopefully, it's I'm a snake in Chinese New Year's.
You are a snake, you're
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio snake as well. So like, I'm pretty excited to smoke that.
So your cigar, what's so limited about that? Like, what's the story?
So they only made 18,000 boxes, I believe, of 10, and they made it in honor of Sir Henry on his 90th birthday, and it was only sold, I believe, in Germany, or basically a company that is based in Germany.
Yeah, the
That
distributor.
yeah, the distributor in Germany, and we've seen
Yeah.
limited editions that were made specifically
For UAE.
for the UAE. So it's
I
similar
think,
concept,
I think
but for that distributor.
what they do is each distributor in the country can request a regional specific cigar from Habanos SA, and they will say, okay, we have demand for say 20,000 boxes of a regional exclusive for Partagas,
Mm.
and we want these kind of notes and this kind of blend, and then Habanos SA will go ahead and make a regional exclusive for this region with those demands, and then they will sell them through the shops.
Do you know if they can request which brand make that limited edition?
I'm not sure if that's the case. I think
It's up to the Habano group to kind of pick a brand.
I think we need Stuart to.
Yeah, he'll. By the way, when he's here,
he'll
we're gonna have just a list of questions.
Yeah. So I get a daily message from him about what he's smoking and what new cigar he's getting in, and he's also telling us, what we need to talk about on the podcast. So it's good we have some fans of the podcast. People are listening. They're enjoying our podcast.
No, I think with each podcast, it has like a super fan early on.
Yeah.
And I guess that we're just quite lucky that that we got ours quite early, because honestly, like this kind of generosity is I was not expecting it this early on in the podcast, to be honest.
And also, if you look at the fact that Cubans have a general reputation of being hit and miss when it comes to construction, I think you can say all three of our cigars are so beautifully constructed.
Perfect.
100%.
We haven't had to touch them up.
No.
The burn has been perfect.
And the draw as well, it has that perfect amount of resistance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like
smoke,
like a loose draw. Exactly. I'm not a fan of cigars where the draw is really like loose, where
you get a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it heats up quite quickly.
Yeah.
The bit of resistance is nice.
Exactly. And I think this resistance comes from the construction of the cigar. It is constructed in a really, really good way. And what I read about the limited editions of Partagas is that they're kind of similar to the Cohiba Vehicas, where they are actually rolled by the highest ranks of the rollers within the factory that rolls them. Not everyone rolls the limited edition cigars, so not only they age the tobacco before rolling them, but also rolled by the professionals out there in the factory. And I think that what basically made the Behike, right?
Yeah.
Because it was rolled by one person originally, and that person was the highest ranked roller in all of the factories in that specific area.
Looks like somebody's been watching the Behike videos on YouTube.
Yes.
Jason.
No, Kirby.
Kirby.
Allison.
Yeah. That video was it's just eye opening, and I think it's more. See, the thing is, again, back to the whole thing about the more you read about cigars, the more you learn, watch videos, and there's really a lot of amazing content out there on YouTube, and hopefully one day our content also can give viewers more information about the cigars that are out there. We get to, I don't know, maybe go one day to Havana and go to like one of the cigar factories, but the more you read and learn about cigars, the more you get interested by the fact that it's not just a smoke.
Yeah.
It's not just tobacco that you're burning and smoking. It's way more than that.
It's a lifestyle, right?
Exactly. It's way more than that.
It's a
You can see the
culture.
passion
Yeah.
of every single person talking about cigars in those videos and those documentaries, from the Davidoff documentary to the Cohiba Behike documentary, all the way to the Monte Cristo one. Everyone is talking with passion, from people working there to people rolling the cigars even, and that is what's interesting for me.
Yeah, and Jassim, who's the regional representative for Casa del Habano, he was in a video today at the Cohiba factory, and he's high-fiving the rollers, and that was such a beautiful video.
The coolest thing in that video was being able to cut your cigar,
Yeah,
open your cigar using a straight cut, and he used the actual cutter that's on the desk of a roller that they cut the cigar when they're rolling. He used that to cut his cigar and
That is
smoke
so
it up
cool.
inside the factory. Again, one day, hopefully, we get to do something similar. So, Omar, please start your factory in Pakistan, and
Yeah.
let's start rolling.
Well, talking about that, I shared a video a couple of days ago, and I think that's going to be Tallham's next hobby, which is going to be actually seed to cigar, growing it yourself.
That was really cool, that video.
Oh, by the way, that
was a cool
YouTuber, he
video.
has some really nice. He's a home cook.
Okay.
YouTuber. He started cooking at home during COVID, and that's how he got more and more into it. And I remember the first one he did. He even rolled the cigar. And I think I sent it to you guys like around a year ago, where the cigar wasn't even rolled in a good way. He just rolled it
Yeah.
himself and just smoked it, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. And now he's getting better and better into it. I don't know if he's gonna become a cigar roller instead of a cook, but yeah, that whole idea of growing your own tobacco in your garden, and then watching it grow, aging the leaves, rolling the leaves. You have a garden, so
Yeah, exactly.
maybe
Yeah,
you can,
but and I don't know if the weather here can accommodate.
There's only one way to
tobacco.
find out.
exactly. Like, what is it gonna cost you? Getting a couple of seeds, putting it in the garden, just watching it grow.
It's like Espresso Lab in their roastery and
Yeah.
Alcoz have a coffee plant.
No, but yeah, like I think a trip to that region, not just like maybe a trip to Cuba, but also like a trip
Oh,
to
Nicaragua,
Nicaragua,
a
to
lot of amazing
Dominica, and all these
places.
places, and checking out the factories, and it would be probably it'll be the kind a trip that I think number like one, it should be just us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No kids, no.
Who's gonna take his kid to a cigar factory?
Not a cigar factory, but like just that part of the world. You know what I mean? Like just kind of to be able to just and spend the whole day in those areas, and and just to enjoy that
Oh, no,
the whole
100%.
experience. You know
All
what
I
I
wanna
mean?
do
Like you don't
is-
have to like split your time, like in the
Yeah,
mornings and all that
definitely.
kind of stuff. Just do that all
Yeah,
day.
imagine going there to a tobacco field, putting your chair, lighting a cigar, and just sitting there for like
So
2
the
hours.
tobacco fields have a deal where 90% of their product has to be sold to Habanos SA, but 10% they can keep for their own use or to sell it locally. So if you go on one of these cigar tours, you can go to one of these fields and actually have them roll you a cigar, and you can take it away and take them home, or you can just sit there and smoke them in the field. I think that would be an amazing holiday.
Yeah. No, it would definitely be. With
But
me,
my only problem with that would be I don't know if Tallham would ever come back home. Though. We'd have to explain to his wife, that's he's a Cuban.
No,
now.
he'll come back. The moment he sees a picture of his kid, he's gonna come back.
yeah. No,
That's the thing. We'll hold. The thing is, we're gonna keep him until the day we see that he's all right, dude. You need to come back now to Dubai. We're start showing him the pictures, and then he's gonna just run back.
Generally speaking, though, like on a trip like that, we'll be kind of easily smoking like 3 or 4 cigars a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, so
at some point we're just gonna be all smoked out.
it'll be like Christmas, New Year this year.
Yeah.
Where you're smoking every day in my apartment.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys feel sick.
Yeah, especially me. I mean, I was new to the whole thing. But yeah.
I think Winston Churchill was smoking like 8 to 10 of these a day.
Yeah.
That's a bit.
To be honest, I don't know if I want to go to a hospital in Cuba as well, or like.
So I was watching another video where like I was talking about the local farms. There's a guy who owns one of these local farms, and he smokes something like 10 a day. And in the morning, what he does is he rolls his own cigars. He has a cigar. He dips it in coffee and smokes it in the morning. In the afternoon, he dips it in some alcohol and smokes it. In the evening, he'll dip it in sherry and smoke it. So I don't know what the.
Oh,
it's part of their diet, I guess. I don't know.
The coffee one, we can try that, I guess. But like
I wouldn't like thing is
maybe like not with the limited edition.
Exactly, I wouldn't
just
go
like,
in a cigar.
Yeah, maybe with a Quintero. we'll try it with one of the Quinteros.
There's Quinteros behind you. And now you're
a limited edition Quintero.
I don't think they have limited editions.
So, Tallham, I heard a rumor that you've started doing cigar reviews.
Oh yeah, this week I started attempting to kind of write reviews on cigars, as unsophisticated as my palate is, but I think it's a in the beginning I thought it would be kind of hard, but then I realized that when you start kind of concentrating on the notes and trying to put them into words, it kind of like it flows out of you in a way, like, and like when we're smoking it right now, right, and we're having a conversation and all that kind of stuff, I'm getting these notes, but there's something like really it's satisfying to just to kind of just go to a place where it's quite quiet, it's quite secluded, and to smoke your cigar and to try to pick up on the notes, not necessarily talk much. I remember with the first one that I reviewed, I brought a book, I brought my headphones. I'm like, you know what? When I'm reviewing, I'll be like reading my book, maybe putting on some music. But then I ended up just focusing on the cigar for the entire 1 hour, just taking down what notes I'm getting and the transitions that I'm getting in the stick itself. It's a lot of fun, and I'm pretty excited to kind of do it with more sticks. So the 2 reviews I did was the 2 cigars which I bought boxes of in the past. So like one of them was a Quintero. I must have bought I think probably at least like 5 boxes of those for the past like maybe 3 or 4 years. Like, so I've smoked at least 100 of them. So so to kind of just to like sit down and to just focus on the flavors was a fun experience. Another one was a New World cigar. It was a Plasencia 1898 Reserva, which was probably a more of like a fuller bodied smoke. And what's interesting is that even though I've smoked in at least 30 of those sticks, to kind of what I enjoyed the most was to kind of pick up on the transitions. So you kind of what you get when you first light the stick, and then once it transitions into the first third, what changes then in the transition in the second third is probably is my favorite transition from the first to the second is one of the most interesting transitions in stick, because generally once you get into the last third of any smoke is when is when the strength starts building up, and for the majority of the times you get the pepper and the
start getting overwhelmed
darker.
with the
Exactly.
yeah.
But that transition from the first to the second was it blew me away, and it was a stick that I've smoked a lot, so I'm pretty excited to do it with sticks that I haven't smoked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I
I'm
wanted
very
to ask
excited
you
to do
is,
the next ones.
because and that, I'm looking forward to that as well, seeing you review cigars that you've never smoked before,
Yes.
and see how much of the notes are, because your palate would be a bit matured when it comes to the cigars that you smoked, like 30 or 40 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And for anyone who would like to read the reviews, we have a website now, habanodelpodcasto.com. We're going to put links in the description. We're going to put links in the description for the 2 reviews that Tallham did as well. They're really interesting reads. Actually, the second one, I was with him when he was reviewing the cigar. We were here at the Vintage Lounge. And
we smoked the same stick.
Yeah,
by
exactly. We
The way.
smoked the same one. And I was sitting here, and I remember, like, the moment I came in, Tallham started, like, smelling the cigar, and I started talking to him like normal, like there's a human being in front of you. You talk to him, and all I see is like Tallham looking at him. He's like,
Yeah, I'm like,
like
I need to focus right now.
Well, I was
Send
like,
his own.
you need to focus. It's like you dragged me from home here
I
to sit down in silence and look at you
told you,
smoke.
bring your laptop because there's gonna be a review, do some
I-
work, and what happened was when I was getting what I was getting on the nose, when he started mentioning what notes you were getting,
I know, it's
I'm like,
like
I need you to stop because it might influence what I'm getting.
Yeah, and then like I ended up like, he told me to bring his laptop. He didn't tell me that I have to be silent for like an hour and a half, sitting with him on a table and just looking at him smoke a cigar. And then in the end, now we actually did discuss. Like, he would get the notes, he would write them down,
Yeah.
and then
And
he would
then we
ask me
discussed,
about
what did you get?
my notes. And
But when you read his review, how similar or different was it from what you got?
so honestly speaking, I think, again, when you read the review after you've smoked the cigar, I think it's way better than reading the review before you smoke it.
Really?
Yeah, I think that it influences your palate when you read the review before you smoke a cigar, right?
100%. Yeah, I get that.
But when I read the review after I smoked, no, I still found some notes just a little bit different than Tallham. Again, Tallham's palate is way more developed than my palate, but I can also resonate, because when you taste something but you don't know what to tie it down to, right?
Yeah.
Like I taste something. I don't know if it's like what's dark, what's like black pepper and what's white pepper. But then you read the review, and you know that, oh, that's actually white pepper, and then you start saying that, oh, it's actually white pepper because it was this that it was on the front of your tongue, not on the back, and all that. So it's really interesting reading the review. And I think the way that he constructed the review as well, it was really nice. The structure was nice. It actually takes you into a journey. It's more of a story.
I got a lot of help on the structure. I'm not gonna say who helped me, but I did get a lot of help.
Well, I mean, hopefully the person that helped you keeps on helping you, getting better and better.
Was it a person or was it Chat GPT?
But that's the problem. I'm
So in
scared.
the beginning, it was the Chat GPT.
Because the first review I read was literally just
So basically, with the
ChatGPT.
first one, and with the first draft, is that I got all the notes.
Yeah.
It's just bam. So this is what I got here. This is what I got here. Bam, 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 and then I just put the whole thing on ChatGPT, and I told it give me a review.
Yeah.
And actually, like it was Edham that it helped me with the blog. What was interesting was to see that. Even with advancements, in AI and all that kind of stuff, there is a difference when you. One of the things that you mentioned that kind of changed the way I write, like when you told me to write it like you're speaking.
Yeah.
So basically, with the same like way that you're describing it, put that into words, and then if you need to change the grammar or the structure slightly, that's easy. ChatGPT can't capture
Yeah.
that, like, what with the way that you speak. We all speak in slightly different like ways that make us like unique, right? So yeah, so like one of the things as well, which was quite funny, was when I did the review with the way that I speak, right? And then when you did the edit, it was very kind of reminiscent of uh, of your tone. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I started looking at the difference, I'm like, okay, this looks like a review that you wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the way that you speak. So that I kind of, it opened me up to the world of writing, which
Yeah.
is
No,
which is a lot of fun, to be honest. And
no.
I'm excited. Not, I don't want to be the only one to like write reviews. I want both of you to kind of take a stab at it, um, with your own sticks.
Yeah.
Like we can we can have like times when we can come into the lounge, maybe not here, maybe in Peacock Alley or something,
Yeah.
and to each just have a stick and just a notepad and just you know
So basically,
and
you
write the
just
reviews.
you want to smoke a cigar, but you don't want to talk to us.
Yeah.
Yes,
He wants to
yes,
smoke in
that's exactly what
silence.
I'm trying to say.
So I remember when I was about 10, 11 years old, I remember I was doing a project for school on cars. And when I started writing it, I was basically just copying stuff out of different magazines and stuff. And I remember clearly, even now, my brother saying to me, get that information, but put it in your own words. And I think that's the key, is having your own voice. And I think
Yes.
that's when I read your blog now, the first draft, it was very much AI.
Mm.
But then when you fixed it, it was very much your own words.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, what's going to help bring the viewers to your reviews, is they want to hear what you thought about the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And I and also, if because remember when we were sitting with the leaf master gentleman, they gave us a brief story about every cigar that we're gonna smoke,
Yes.
which even made the smoke more interesting for us before even holding the cigar, before even smelling it, before getting the notes, before smoking the cigar.
Mm.
And I think what you can incorporate in those at a later stage is learning the story behind the cigar,
Yes.
if there is a story behind the cigar, even a story behind the brand, whatever it is, and kind of incorporating that into the review.
Anecdotes.
Exactly, because you're giving for me, if I want to read something about a specific topic or a specific product or a review of a cigar, it's also interesting for me to know the story behind it.
Yeah.
Not only, okay, what am I getting from the cigar, if that makes sense.
You know Jeremy Clarkson? So he always used to write an article in the Sunday Times on cars, reviewing cars every Sunday. And he would do that. He would start off with an anecdote about something and then link it to the review of the car and then start reviewing the car. And since I was like 8, 9 years old, I've been reading those articles. And that's what really got me into reading. I loved that. But I have a challenge for Tallham, which is, a few days ago, I got a message from one of my close friends, Mario, who you've both met, and who's going to be a guest on our podcast probably in April. And he sent me a picture of himself in Peacock Alley smoking a Cuban, and he smoked it right down to the nub. And he said, "Look, Omar, I can only do this with Cubans."
Mm.
Right now, my challenge to you is to go to the Leaf Master, speak to Ride, and maybe get some notes from Mario about what cigar he likes, and pick a New World cigar, and we'll smoke it with him on the podcast and see if he wants to smoke that to the nub.
I think that would be a very, very nice challenge, because I've like with Mario, like what I mentioned, I've struggled with probably with a majority of of New Worlds, especially the full-bodied ones, like to smoke all the way down, because once you get that buildup of pepper, it becomes too much on your palate. Um, but yeah, just a shout out to Mario as well. I think that that one when it was at the launch of the Oliva by Amarati, I believe, when we all had when we all had the prime, I believe
Yeah.
we were it was just generally, it's nice to kind of talk about cigars, especially with people that are a lot more experienced than you, to just pick at their knowledge of just the history of their experience with smoking.
Yeah. And
So
at that event, we also met another fan of our podcast, Hamza, and he's from the US, so he had a lot of experience with New World cigars, and he was telling us about his experience with Oliva and Palencia, and he actually doesn't rate Cuban cigars as highly as others,
really,
maybe because he's from the US and has had a lot of exposure to New World cigars, which have amazing quality, right, and construction, and have become very, very popular.
where so where do you I would want to know what's your opinion on Cuban versus the New World, especially because with me, I view you as an OG Cuban a cigar smoker. Like, you've been smoking Cubans when they were like not that popular here, and and you've also mentioned a lot of stories of
Yeah,
whenever that you never to have Cubans in your humidor because it was just
Yeah, back in the
always
70s.
available
back in the 70s.
back in the 70s. But before we get into that, I think that all of us are comfortably in the second thirds of our smokes, and I'm very interested to know if there are any changes with your cigars at all, or differences in the notes, or the body, or the strength.
Um,
I think Adham's the one with the special Partagas, so he should.
the strength, well, it is getting stronger, the cigar. I'm picking up a little bit of pepper now, more pepper. But see, the thing is, for me, when it comes to the second third, I stop retrohaling because I can't. It
Really,
becomes a bit, yeah, strong for me. But now I'm still retrohaling it. I'm
it's easy.
exactly. It's easy. It's fine. It's it's just too creamy.
Omar,
I didn't get the creaminess in the first third. In the second third, the
so
creaminess
can you
starts getting there.
describe what you mean by creamy? Like what's the sensation? If you can just describe how that it feels in your own words.
Hmm. So, the taste of tobacco, the smell of tobacco, how it's something that is, I wouldn't say pungent, but a bit, a hit to your head. The pure tobacco.
Yeah.
When it
Like the
comes,
rush kind of thing.
yeah, when
Yeah.
it comes to the cigar, I don't feel that. The creaminess I'm getting is because I think it's because of the smoothness of the draw, the smoke that's coming in. Um, the draw itself is so it's 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 easily, you can say it's light. It's not light, right? But the draw itself, the smoke that's coming into my mouth is cool. It's light. It's not
Smooth.
exactly. It's smooth. It's not too much as well. Something that you mentioned where you're drawing it because of the tightness. You're not
Mm.
getting that much of a smoke in your mouth, but in general, the earthness of the cigar. You know how you. It's hard to describe it. It's like when you're froth. What do you call it when you froth milk?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, you know how it becomes light
yeah,
and like
frothy.
exactly frothy. That's
Mm.
what I'm feeling with the smoke I'm getting from the cigar.
Interesting. I would agree with that. It's a when when it's creamy, for me, the way that I describe it is that it it kind of like, I know this might not make any sense, but it has a heaviness on your palate that it's that in a way where like if you have a sip of milk,
Yeah,
or if you have
Mm.
a bit of cream, Or I don't know if you guys have ever like I've done this, but that whipped cream in the can, how you just like
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh, it fills your mouth, but at the
How
same time, you
it
feel
fills
like
your mouth.
there's a lot of air in it. It's like
Yes,
it's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's how I
That's
describe it.
exactly how I feel with the smoke coming out of this. That you
Yeah.
put it in the right words. That's exactly what I feel with this, and I think it's to me the sweetness have turned from honey on the nose to a slight vanilla. Uh,
Yeah, I think
on the
vanilla is a
product.
good description
Yeah.
Interesting.
of a light medium Cuban.
So with me,
That's
I'm
some
not.
buildup of ash you have there.
Yeah, this I've never like this is I'm gonna attempt to keep it going, but we'll see when it falls. But with me, let me just take a puff, and and if you would wanna
Yeah.
give us what you're
So
getting on your
uh,
second, third.
for me, when I'm smoking, I have a particular test that I do to tell if a cigar is well constructed. So if I take a puff, while I'm taking the puff, if I see smoke coming out of the end of it, and the amount of smoke that comes into my mouth, if it's enough for me to retrohale, I think that's a well constructed cigar, and I'm getting that on this. So when you take a puff, you see the smoke coming out the of the end of it, plus there's enough to retrohale.
Mm.
For me, that's a perfect um, construction of the cigar. And also when you're tasting it, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago we smoked the EP Carrillo. That was pretty full bodied,
Yeah,
and it knocked me out. Whereas
this one.
I think it's like 1 in the morning now, and it's Ramadan. We've been fasting all day, and
Yep.
And you're fine.
we're fine, right? If there was a wee bit more nicotine, but full body, I think I would be lying on the sofa.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's pretty lovely.
So with mine, I'd say that the bread notes have probably been replaced, and I'm getting a lot of nutty notes, particularly like a sweet almond, I'd say.
Mm.
Um, and the finish is quite long. Um, there is no pepper until now, and I'm quite surprised by that. Where I'm not picking up any pepper
I'm just hoping that
whatsoever.
ash falls on you, because that would be so funny.
No, he
And
can do it. He can do it. That's the challenge that
the
I give
challenge is
you.
when I have to remove that band. Is when I have to remove it. It might, yeah.
Or you
So,
smoke it.
well, you can't smoke the band.
There are some cigars
Yeah.
that the band can be smoked as well.
People smoke the bands.
Let's try this. So yeah, with me, it's
Maybe you want to
quite-
do it over the ash. Oh, you don't. There you
That's the first one. We still have the second one. I'll do that later.
And I think with this limited edition Partagas, I've never smoked a cigar to the knob.
But you feel like you might with this?
Yes.
Um,
A part of it because I don't want it to end, because I'm really enjoying this, and I think that this kind of steak you have it once in a lifetime. Where am I ever gonna smoke a Partagas limited edition 2020 unless it's my birthday in a couple of weeks and you guys are generous
or
as generous as
if
Stuart.
it comes along in April and he gives you a
Yes.
birthday gift himself.
But yeah, a part of it is because of that. I really want to give it all it takes, smoke every single bit of this amazing cigar. But also at the same time, I think, and this is something that now I kind of resonate with Mario a bit,
Yeah.
is that he said that he only gets to go to the knob with Cuban cigars. And I want to know why, and I want to test it out with this cigar and see if I can actually do that.
By the way, one of the reasons that just to let our viewers know, before we did the draw, I wanted at Edham to smoke that at H. Upmann, and at Omar to smoke the Partagas, just because generally Partagas is Omar's favorite brand, and he kind of might have the palate to kind of take that strength, and I wanted to use to smoke that H. Upmann just because it's in a way at H. Upmann is I just say uh is like if somebody would ask me what's your favorite Cuban, I'd say it's a Partagas, um, or a Trinidad.
Have you had a Cohiba?
I've never had a Cohiba.
Hmm.
I've never had a Cohiba.
I think one special episode we need to get ourselves a Cohiba and try that out.
So on my
Did
birthday,
you hear that, Stuart?
on my birthday a few years ago, my nephews got me the Cohiba Esplanidos, the
Ooh.
Churchill size cigars from
Really?
Cohiba, and they're sometimes voted the best cigars ever made.
No way.
Yeah, so I'll try to get a handful of them next time.
Have you had a bunch of Cohibas
Yeah, I've had a few.
But would one of the things that I've like would you like say it's the best smoke you've had, or would you say that because of how overhyped it is, it was experienced maybe a bit underwhelming?
Yeah, we bit underwhelmed.
That's what I've come to expect, is that if anything is overhyped, and then you go into it with that kind of mindset,
You
it
get
kind of
disappointed.
you get disappointed.
Yeah.
But like what with my experience with the H. Upmann is that it was one of the first Cubans that I smoked when I first got into it, and one of the things that I really enjoyed about it is that like light to like medium strength of it. You could really pick up on the creamy buttery like notes
Yeah.
of the H. Upmann sticks, and yeah. So like I was saying, if somebody would ask me what's your favorite stick, I'd never mention that it's the H. Upmann,
No.
but I think inside, like inside my heart, it's the H. Upmann.
And like I gave you a challenge, I'm gonna give Adham a challenge, and that is in the summer I'll be traveling back home to Scotland. We need to find a way where you both are sitting here smoking, and me and Stuart are smoking
In Scotland.
and we can put the podcast together.
Done. It can be done.
Great, because he's got a smoking room in his house, and I've got a smoking room in my house,
No way.
and I've got cigars aging, and obviously he's got some as well. So that'll be pretty cool too.
I'll hook you up with 2 wireless
Yeah.
mics. You can take them. I'll show you how to hook
Yeah.
them in,
Great.
and we can dial in and do this episode. All you need to do is just put your phone in front of you as a camera, and
Honestly, I'd rather like just it would be easier if you teach his daughter,
Yeah, exactly.
because he's not going to be able to do it.
I thought he was gonna tell me, it's easier
or
if
his
we
nephew
fly
or
off
Just
to
fly
something.
there.
Scotland,
Yeah, exactly.
Just go there and just do it there, or bring Stuart here. Oh man, this cigar is an eye
Beautiful.
opener for me.
Yeah.
It's thing is, I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy smoking, normal budget.
Non-limited edition
Exactly.
cigars.
So I'm a limited edition cigar kind of guy now.
By the way, what are we like? What's like an hour in? Just around an hour in, and I'm halfway through. I'd say, like this is gonna be quite a long episode.
So only now I'm towards the final third. I'm getting more of the creaminess, the vanilla that you were talking about.
Any pepper building up with
No,
yours?
no pepper.
No pepper. What about with you? You mentioned there's
a
a
slight.
there's a slight pepper.
I did feel it in the beginning as well, like just a slight one. I think that comes in from being a full-bodied
Yeah.
cigar. The strength of it maybe influencing the pepper. To me, again, I just love it if we have you guys smoking this cigar one day as well, and seeing how your developed palates will pick things up from it.
With me, it's the finish on these. They're really long. Like those flavors, they linger on the palate, like long after you take that puff. So and I'm getting a lot of creamy woody notes on that finish.
I think if you remember when we smoked the Amarati by Oliva, the Churchill, I smoked quite fast.
Yes, it really
Whereas
did.
these are smoking quite slow.
Yeah, and it's not, and these aren't even Churchill size.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it must be the way they rolled. Maybe the Oliva were rolled a wee bit looser, so they were smoked faster.
More air coming into the
Yeah.
cigar, lighting it up a bit.
These ones are maybe rolled a wee bit more tight, but not so tight that they're clogged. Right?
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
I want to see if this is going to ash by itself.
So I've obviously got a lot of people that I know who smoke shisha, and I think what I want to do is start getting them to try a cigar. There's a lot of people who have never tried a cigar because they're probably, one, intimidated by it, two, they've probably smelt it and it's not been their thing. But I think people who smoke shisha or they vape, if they try a cigar, I think they will enjoy it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Just so I've I have a few buddies of mine back in high school. They fly in here once a year, and we play a card game called Tricks. So we've been playing. So the four of us have been playing since high school and in university. We'd play once a week. But now when one of or a couple of my buddies they like relocated. We'd only play when they come in. So they came in last month in February, and we'd usually go to shisha places, and smoke shisha and play cards. And I smoked, I think maybe 3 or 4 shishas in the span of a week, and man, it takes a toll on
Yeah.
your chest, man, because you're actually smoking. And one thing I noticed, generally people that smoke shisha are into sweet flavors.
In flavors and like the flavor of tobacco for them isn't something that is
Yeah,
excites me.
it's not a pleasant thing
Yeah.
for them because they get generally, like with shisha, like with the one that I was smoking, it was a watermelon and mint flavor. So they're quite sweet. And I remember on the last day that we played, I brought a cigar, and the three of them were like, "Man, to just like why you're smoking that? It smells like it smells like crap and all that kind of stuff."
Yeah.
And I don't like know if they're a palate kind of loud. But what I did notice is that it's probably easier to get a coffee drinkers
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
cigars
Because
because
they're
they
used
already
to
they've already it's if you have a palate that is accustomed to getting the sweet like notes out of bitter, what is considered an acquired taste or a bitter taste, they would probably get into
Yeah.
cigars a lot easier than a person that vapes or smokes shisha, like bubblegum flavors and all that.
and it's
Like
the
stuff.
same. I think because my wife is a shisha smoker and she
Yeah.
loves her shishas. And when we were in Thailand, I gave her a cigar and I was like, try this. Smoked it, and the same reaction I got from her is because again, when it comes to coffee, she likes her French vanilla from Tim's and the Spanish lattes and those sweet. I call them non-coffee drinks because I never
Yeah.
taste the coffee inside them. And then one day I gave her, she took a sip of my espresso, and the same reaction she got from going from like a Spanish latte to an espresso is the reaction I got from her when she went from a shisha to smoking a cigar. Whereas
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, this tastes horrible.
Yeah.
Right? And one thing that she also picked up on, and I think a lot of shisha smokers, they enjoy the amount of smoke output.
Ah, okay.
Like if the shisha is giving you this huge smoke output, there's like, this shisha is amazing. And then when they smoke a cigar, like, is this even on? Like, what's
Okay.
happening?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to get someone, a shisha smoker, on the pod and see the reaction. So yeah.
No, it's sorry. It is interesting that if you have a palate that is accustomed like to sweet flavors, it's very kind of it's very you need to kind of adapt your palate over at times to start enjoying bitter notes, because once you, it's same with it's same with everything. When I was a kid, I used to eat cornflakes every day, or like not cornflakes, the frosted flakes, almost on a daily basis. So when I first got into coffee, it was all the flavored stuff. It can't just be a black coffee. And then as I got older, I genuinely like started. I don't know with you guys, but like there's only once you have too much of a sweet thing, it it gets a bit like sickly. You know what I mean? It just too much of of a sweet. Of a sweet. Too much of sweet notes
Yeah.
kind of it becomes unenjoyable. And then once that started happening with me in probably like at my mid 20s, what was when I started enjoying the more nuanced flavors of coffee, and that it got me into cigars eventually.
We're just talking about coffee. I'm just having some of Adam's V60, and it's an ice V60, but I'm getting a lot of berries from this.
Do you
A
think
lot
it's
of
influenced
sweetness.
because of the cigar you smoked?
I'm not sure, but maybe because it's light medium cigar I'm smoking, that I'm getting a lot of
And it
flavor
went.
from the cigars.
It just went.
He just ruined their chair.
Oh man. There you go.
I hope that got caught by the camera. So yeah, I was saying, I think because it's a light medium smoke I'm having, I can pick up the notes from the coffee a lot more. I don't know. You're smoking a lot heavier cigar, Adam. Are you getting the same notes from the coffee?
Okay, well, now that you mentioned it, I don't want it to influence what I get, but fruitness. Yeah, there is fruitness. I wouldn't associate it to berries just because
Yeah.
it's pretty mild, and because also the aftertaste of the creaminess of the cigar, the vanilla, is also influencing my coffee a bit, and it's making my coffee a bit sweeter as well.
Yeah.
I can taste sweetness in the coffee compared to the sip I took before we even lit the cigar. But again, this is something that I heard you say last time, where you paired a iced V60 with the EP Carollo, I
Yep.
think, and I wanted to try it with a strong cigar, and I think it pairs beautifully with it.
And it's also, I think, same with dark chocolate. If you have people who like Mars bars or Snickers or something, and you give them some dark chocolate, which is 70-80% cocoa, they'll be like, ew, this is disgusting.
Yeah,
It's too bitter. But if you actually eat that, having had a lot of dark chocolate, you'll get a lot of different notes. Um, but maybe not go all the way to 100%,
yeah, yeah.
because that then
Taking
tastes.
cocoa nibs and just
It literally just
eating them.
tastes of earth.
When it comes to chocolate, I enjoy chocolates that have a bit of weird combination, like spicy chocolate or chocolate with mint, or chocolate with sea salt, salted caramel. I think they just blend well and they reduce the sweetness a bit. Even when it comes to dark chocolate, like a dark chocolate with salted caramel or burnt caramel, just plays along really well. Same thing with a creamy, sweet cigar with a coffee. Just blends really nice.
But have you ever had a lot of single origin dark chocolate?
No.
like from different regions?
No, I haven't got into chocolate
Yeah.
to that extent.
So I think we need to maybe do an episode where we go to Merzum
Mhm.
and try their different single origins, because it's very much same as coffee and cigars. A single origin chocolate from India tastes very different from one from Indonesia or Ethiopia or South America. It has a completely different taste.
Did you guys enjoy that Dubai chocolate?
Dubai chocolate?
Yeah.
No, I like it. I'm actually not a fan.
I'm not a big fan. Well, I so the one that I liked was they did like a limited edition
Dark chocolate.
chocolate version of the
Mm.
Dubai chocolate,
That's really nice.
which I enjoyed because of the sweetness that went down. To me, it's just too sweet.
Yeah, me too.
My-
With me, I'm not a big fan of pistachio, like generally, because it's just I didn't I get that hype.
Yeah,
No, I got it.
and again for me,
Did
it's
you
like,
get the hype?
I got that.
to me it was like so hyped up. Again, same thing with like
Yeah, because it's
cigars.
overhyped. You're like, yeah,
Is
going
exactly,
on?
and then I tasted it. I was like, just sounds a bit too. I don't know, too aesthetic. It's not chocolate for me. But again, different palates, different opinions. I know that a lot of people have enjoyed it and still enjoying it. We can see everything all around Dubai has their own version of Dubai chocolate right now.
No.
We went to Global Village the other day, and every single stall in Global Village is selling their own Dubai chocolate version of things.
Yeah.
There's one shop that's selling like a croissant that has Dubai chocolate filling inside, where they put like kunafa and pistachio and all that kind of things. There's someone selling samosas with Dubai chocolate filling inside. It's just too much.
Yeah.
To me, it's just this is too much.
For me, like it was just with the fact that they just took a kunafa, which is like what you can classify as the Jordanian / Palestinian national dessert, and he tried to like put it like it just made no sense to me. For me, a kunafa is a kunafa. Like if anybody has had like a kunafa from Jordan or from Palestine, yeah, it's already perfect in its own way. There's no need to put a twist on it. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I'm like, you know what? No, this is not working. It's pistachio, bro. It's not.
Yeah.
There's no kunafa in this.
The thing
I
is, you don't
expected,
really
by the
taste
way,
the
when
kunafa.
when I first tried it, I was expecting like cheese in there. You know what I mean?
Oh no. So they only took so you only can feel the crumbness
Yeah,
of the kunafa,
exactly.
basically the noodles that they put inside. But that's it. It's not really
Yeah.
has anything to do with the kunafa. It's just the texture of the kunafa topping inside it, basically. But another thing that also that they've done well is marketing it. You know, and I think a lot of brands nowadays are trying to be that exclusive
Yeah.
kind of thing, where like if we make it super exclusive, really rare to get your hands on one, then people are just gonna love it more and more, and FOMO plays so much. And the problem is, I've never smoked them, but I think there's a lot of Cuban cigars out there that are kind of doing that FOMO thing, right? It's like, oh, the Cohiba Bihike is so rare, it's unbelievably exclusive.
But
You
it is,
can-
but it is. That's the thing
It is, no,
with
it is.
Cubans. Just because they are in limited supply, you know what I mean, worldwide,
Demand is so much as well.
and with demand is huge. But like with like I remember when.
But that's the thing. Does that mean that the cigar is unbelievably good, or is it really hyped up because of how rare and the demand
Well,
is high?
I think it also probably has to do with the fact that the tobacco that's grown in Cuba is quite unique in its in its own right, and we've all experienced this. Like we've all spoken about this, that every Cuban that we've smoked, there is a something different about it when you compare it to any other cigar,
Yeah.
including the Quinteros, by the way. they have no
You
like
just had to bring the
even
containers in
even what I'm trying to say is that even budget Cubans like the Quinteros, like the ones that you're smoking, they have a flavor profile that you can't get with any other stick. That is just, for me, that's what makes it quite unique.
See, we spoke about cigars, we spoke about coffee, spoke about dark chocolate. There's another type of food that has very different characteristics depending on where it comes from. Is cheese.
Mm.
I think different types of cheese, hard. I only like hard cheese. I don't like soft cheese. But hard cheese like Parmesan Reggiano from Italy, it has a very nutty taste.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
So when my wife was pregnant, one of the things that she stopped having was unpasteurized cheese,
Yeah.
and that included Parmigiano Reggiano. So we started making pastas with Pecorino Romano,
Oh,
which is, I believe, I think it's a sheep's milk cheese,
yes.
and it's what they like make that cacio e pepe, that specific pasta that only has like a
Goat
cheese
cheese.
a sauce with black pepper, and yeah, and probably that this was in 2024 is when I started kind of getting into like the nuances
Yeah.
of cheese. By the way, this wasn't planned. By the way, it's just we didn't plan to talk about cheese, but like
But it's all
I
about
became a
natural
fan
products.
of cheese probably like last year,
Like I'm sure.
especially on pastas. By the
No,
way,
I've always been a big fan of cheese and strong pungent cheese. Like I remember my childhood was all about my dad introducing me to goat kashkaval cheese,
mm,
and that thing is so hard and pungent. It's just amazing.
I actually had a really nice cheese plate at your house in Jordan
Yeah.
when before your wedding.
have
It
you
was
guys
really nice.
gotten into blue cheeses? That's one
No,
of the things
that's what
I
I'm saying.
can't
Soft cheese I can't do.
I love it.
Really?
really.
I love it.
Doesn't it like smell of feet?
I just love it. I love the taste. I don't say that I love the smell of feet, but I love the taste of blue cheese. It's
Like a Stilton, like that.
Mm.
It just for me, it's just too much.
no, I love it.
Really.
Yeah, I enjoy it so much. I enjoy even. Um, I know it sounds weird, but I do it. There's a place in Jordan that does this amazing burger with blue cheese dressing on like cheese on top. It's just that just amazing. I love blue cheese. I love all those, strong, pungent cheeses. And I love pairing them with grapes, dried apricot.
Yeah.
To me, that's like every time we go on a buffet, especially in Ramadan, they always have the cheese section.
Yeah.
I just break my fast with that.
Oh, I
With-
love
with
that.
the
I go
cheese.
ahead. I fill my plate with that. I just want to eat that, and then I go into the other stuff.
Speaking of Ramadan buffets, have you guys did you guys go to a buffet this Ramadan yet, or you've just been having iftar at home or suhoor at home?
No, I've been having fun with my mom. My mom is here. She traveled today back to Jordan, and it's been like home cooking for us. But I think we will go to a couple. I want to try them out. A couple of them. Like last year. I went to like a lot because I was living alone here. So I was going there with our uncle Marwan. I've heard there's a lot of good ones, but to me, with buffets in general, I don't really enjoy them much.
Mm.
Thing is, standing in line,
Yeah.
putting a bunch of different cuisines and different,
Yeah.
food on the same plate and eating a bit of butter chicken and then going all the way and eating I don't know, a kubbe and then going all the way to eat something that is a pasta. It's just,
It's too much. Yeah.
it's too much. It's like smoking a cigar and then having a shisha and then
Yeah.
I don't know, going ahead and eating a Dubai chocolate all in the same sitting, it's just a bit too much.
How about you, Omar?
I went to the
yet?
Taj in Business Bay in the first Ramadan because my wife, she's promoting some of these restaurants, and it was good. It wasn't a huge selection. It was relatively contained, and I think that's what makes iftar really good. If you have a few dishes done well, as opposed to 100 dishes done mid. I'm not a huge fan of huge buffets.
Yeah.
But the final item on my agenda to discuss was whiskey. So, me never smoked, I never drank alcohol in my life, but I love watching YouTube videos of Scotch whiskies. And what I understand is, uh, depending on different parts of Scotland, whiskey can taste very different. So, Islay, Islay whiskies
Isla,
are very peaty, whereas like Moray, because I drive through these areas in Scotland every year. I see all the distilleries. Although I've never tasted it, it looks like something that if I was to drink it, I would probably enjoy the different variants. I just love all these kind of natural products.
Well, no, that's really interesting. Like, I feel like generally one of the most natural pairings of a cigar apparently is a whiskey, just of it because of the sweetness in whiskey. It kind of
Yeah.
it helps your palate pick up on the sweet notes of the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So like with as opposed to coffee that is generally a lot kind of more earthy than whiskeys. But yeah, it is it is a natural
I
pairing.
think also because of the alcohol and what it does to your palate, what it does to
Oh
your
yeah, it cleanses your palate
exactly.
maybe.
Cleanse,
Yeah,
it's like when you go to you're eating a lot of sushi and then you take a bit of
that
wasabi or
ginger.
ginger,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which cleanse your palate, and that's what the alcohol does every time you take a small sip of, and specifically whiskeys as well, because the alcohol in them kind of kicks you out.
Okay.
So it cleanses your palate. So every puff you take from the cigar after you take a sip of whiskey feels like a fresh breath of something coming in.
So with me now, I'm in my in the final third, and finally the pepper is starting to pop up. It's not a black pepper. It's not a harsh pepper. But it is. And I'm beginning to feel the strength now. By the way, with this,
Yeah, you look like you're getting quite drowsy.
it's kicking in. Yeah, it's kicking in, and I'm pretty sure it's the same with you now with the Partagas.
Yeah, but not as hard as the Epicarlo.
Yeah, because
Like I
yeah,
honestly I can smoke two of those in the same dish.
but the strength is
Yeah, the strength is
is
there.
it's
Yeah,
coming. You know what I
But
mean?
also, it's later in the evening, and you're a night owl, right?
Yeah,
Whereas EP Curler, you had it quite early in the morning, not hadn't eaten a lot.
yeah, just breakfast and
Yeah. So I think it also depends on the time of day,
Mm.
and I think that's what I was listening to the podcast that we did with Ride and Leafmaster. They were saying, depending on the time of day, what you've eaten, the place of where you're smoking it, it all makes a difference to how you with the experience of the cigar. If you smoke it in a cold country versus a hot country, it could taste different. And I find that when I'm in the farm in Pakistan, it's very different sitting in an open field versus sitting in a cigar room.
Mm-mm.
You're getting quite a different experience.
also your mood, right?
Yeah.
When I came in today, I was really excited to smoke
Yeah.
those cigars that we have, and it just set up that expectation, that hype, that adrenaline, kind of slight adrenaline rush of what we're gonna do and what we're gonna smoke, as compared to an early morning smoke where I'm half asleep
Yeah, no,
doing it and doing it.
I really enjoy these like Ramadan um at night smokes, and I think honestly we can do this after the Ramadan. I'm really enjoying
An
smoking
evening,
it.
yeah.
Smoking it on
Yeah.
a Friday night, a Saturday night. I feel like it's perfect. Yeah. Um, how are you on your stick? I've noticed that you've had some construction
Yeah, I
issues
think
on yours.
coming towards the final third, the wrappers come off, so it's not as enjoyable anymore. But I've enjoyed the cigar; it's been
Mm,
brilliant. It's just I think it's come towards its natural end.
mm,
But because I was just doing some research, I was just thinking to myself like, you always hear about Cameroon wrapper and
mm.
Sumatra wrapper from Indonesia. I was just thinking to myself like, Cuban cigars, do they also use wrappers from around the world?
No,
But they don't. They use it all from
it's
Cuba.
all from Cuba. If
Yeah.
when
Different
I
regions, but
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's all specifically in Cuba. And I've noticed when I was looking at doing a bit of research on this when it specified the wrapper, the binder, with the filler, in all of the descriptions, it just said undisclosed.
mm,
So you just know it's from
Yeah.
Cuba, but you're not sure. But they don't mention exactly which region, I guess, or like one specific region,
yeah, different
and
factory
yeah, different
farms. Sorry, and then, yeah.
farms or something like that. But like yeah, what's interesting, um, one of the cigars that I'm excited to review, probably like, not smoke on the podcast, but to review is the Das Gloria of
Yeah.
um I'm trying to remember the brand, but it's
Brazil.
one of the cigars that I got from the Leaf Master
The Brazilian one.
that has a Brazilian
Yeah,
wrapper.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited
Is it just
to
the
review.
wrapper that's Brazilian, or is it?
I don't know what the binder and the filler is, but I'm gonna look. But I'm gonna look it up. But it's a cigar that's been like really popping online.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited
I
to see
read a
that.
review of it. I think the whole cigar is from Brazil.
It's from Brazil.
I think so.
It's quite, that's gonna be quite interesting.
I think
Oh,
more and more countries in the Americas have started to, you know,
Yeah.
do cigars. A lot of countries will see also. Like I've read that Turkey is going a bit
really?
into cigar farming and making
Yeah.
their own cigars as well. With technology, man, you can grow anything anywhere right now. It's you can do a greenhouse and get the exact type of soil, humidity, um, climate of somewhere that is halfway around the world
Yeah.
easily, right? So I don't think it's going to be any issue in the next 5 to 10 years to start seeing cigars being grown in countries we've never actually thought that they're going to grow cigars in.
So I was playing a bit about with Grok,
Tobacco.
and I asked Grok like, "What's the most unexpected country that grows cigars?" And it said that Cameroon and Indonesia, but these unexpected countries are only really growing the wrappers,
Hmm.
not the full cigar, not the binder, not the filler. It's mainly just the wrapper, and that adds a specific flavor to them. Because Sumatra, of course, Indonesian coffee, Sumatra coffee is incredible.
Yep.
It has its own characteristics. So it's the same with the wrapper.
So the Perez Carrillo cigar that I got in the launch of that brand, it has a Cameroon wrapper.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm pretty excited to smoke that as well.
I think that one you should review.
Yeah,
To give it
so what I want to review is that and the Glorious. I thought of reviewing that Melania, that Oliva Melania, but you've mentioned that that's probably the strongest
Yeah.
cigar you've ever smoked.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that might be a bit intimidating, to be honest. So I might just
he'll
skip
go
that one.
sleep halfway through the review.
No,
We'll see
and
the review
it's
is like, and then they have like dots.
it's a huge stick. Like what was like your experience with that, if you remember?
It's been, I think
A
it
long
was during
time.
COVID that I
Oh.
smoked it. I think I got it from the Leaf Master, smoked it, and I was like gone
You
by
were
the end of it.
Yeah. No, of the kind of heaviest one I've smoked was also a cigar I bought from the Leaf Master. I forget the brand, but the wrapper was an Oscuro leaf, I think, or I think that's how you pronounce it, and it was jet black.
Okay.
And man, and I remember at the time when I bought it, he told me, don't buy the stick. It's going to kick your ass. But at the time I was a bit
I
cocky
can
and
handle
stuff.
it.
I can handle it. And I specifically remember I smoked this just probably at around COVID or just after in my living room. And halfway through, I was with my wife. This was before we had kids and stuff, or kid. And I remember at halfway through, I told her, I need to go and lie down, or I'm just gonna throw up everywhere. It was intense. So yeah, I don't. And I remember with that one, I did all the prep. I had a heavy meal.
Yeah.
I had a coffee with me, but like, yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work.
So
So
maybe listen to rides.
yeah, I will for sure. But it kind of, so that kind of opened up the question for me in my head. I'm like, who enjoys these cigars? Like, is there people in the community that have developed such a tolerance
Yeah.
to that nicotine that that's what they
think-
would want to smoke.
I think people who smoke generally like 2-3 cigars a day,
Yeah.
would enjoy that specific cigar. Like if they have like a special occasion and they want to smoke one cigar during that day or that occasion, they can enjoy something like that.
Yeah.
Or
Their
after
tolerance
dinner,
for
right?
exactly their tolerance for
remember.
nicotine is high already. So
I remember when I went to that launch. I remember like there were people at the launch that smoked. That in the beginning of the evening they brought their own sticks and they smoked that through. Then they launched with the cigar of the evening and they smoked that. And then by the end of the night they're smoking, you know, a third stick. And this was all in the span of 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, I don't have that kind
That's
of
the same with coffee, right?
tolerance.
If you go to Italy, they're all drinking mainly dark roasted coffee, and for them that's what they enjoy. Whereas the specialty coffee movement is more about lighter, medium roasted coffees,
Yep.
where you're getting more of the fruity flavors. So I think it depends on the region as well, where people are smoking, what kind of smokes they enjoy.
like go to Jordan or Palestine, right? And you'll see people eating a kunafa every day,
Yeah,
right? Like, and then you
after every meal sometimes.
exactly, and then you go
Like-
ahead.
It reminds me, like in Eid, like this is a tradition in
Yeah.
our family, where my uncle, this was the early morning, so we'll go do the Eid prayer, and then they'll get kunafa that's eaten inside of a bread
Yeah, like a
biscuit.
sandwich, like a
Yeah.
kunafa sandwich.
So just imagine, just a carb overload load, and this is like at 8 in the morning. So by the end of it, you're just like, no, knocked out on your
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah, no, exactly. And if you take that and then you bring someone that is not really introduced to too much sugar and carbs, and then you try to give them, kunafa, even one kunafa a week would be too much for them, right?
Yeah.
True.
And the same thing, for example, I remember when Omar, our colleague and our friend, he came to Jordan before the wedding, like that was a year or 2 years before, and then, the moment he landed, I picked him up. We went to Abu Jbara. It's like a famous falafel place in Jordan. I was like, all right, we're gonna have breakfast now, and then we sat down and I ordered falafels and fatteh and hummus, and like halfway through, he's like, I'm ready to go to bed. I'm like, what do you mean? This is what we have for breakfast. This is like literally what we eat and then go through with our day. And then I remember on the way that we were going to Madaba to take like a small tour in Madaba, visit all the historical places. And then we stopped at a gas station. He went in while I was putting gas, and he came out with like a huge box of water bottles. And he's like, bro, I'm so dehydrated because of that food. And he was like literally drinking at least like 5-6 bottles of water on the way.
No, yeah, it's like I remember one of the times I was in Jordan, probably at 8 or 9 2 years ago. We were invited to family friends' house who were originally from Jordan. So obviously they invited us, for lunch, and we had mensaf, right? And that's a dish, if you've had it, it's probably one of the heaviest, because it has bread, and then it has the rice, and then it has
Milk.
that meat,
Yeah.
and the heavy jamid, which is like a kind of like a fermented yogurt, kind of a
Goat.
sauce.
Yeah.
And then after you finish that mensaf, immediately after it's kanafa with tea. So like, and by the end of that, you're done. And I remember once you finish at your plate, they don't ask you if you want more. They just put more on your
exactly.
plate, and you're just eating and eating and eating, and just yeah.
It's like when I was working for the Egyptian bank, and I went to Egypt. I was in Cairo in the office, and my colleague said, "Okay, today we're organizing lunch, so don't order anything." I was like, "Okay, right." So it must have been about 10 of us in the room, and these waiters walk in, and they put this plastic sheets on everyone's desk, and then they bring in the full and the falafel. Oh my god, I ate that. It must have been like 1 p.m. and we're all just like the rest of the afternoon. We're just lying there like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep. And I was like, I don't know how you guys get any work done. Almost half asleep. Oh, brilliant.
So what's where do you want to end it? The cigars? How
I
do you
think
feel?
with me, it's pretty full bodied now, full strength, I'd say. The pepperlick notes are not dominant. I'd say that the earth notes have picked up. I'm gonna try to smoke this all the way down, probably off camera, but this was probably, if I had to say, probably one of the top 3 Cubans I've smoked.
Yeah.
It's very memorable. Just again, big shout out to Stuart for providing us with these amazing sticks, and yeah, it's been quite the ride for me.
Well, I can say this comfortably. This is the best cigar I've smoked so far. Yeah.
Nice. I'm enjoying the smell of your cigars as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the.
We'll see you on the next one. Where I think I'm hoping that we'll be smoking Davidoff
Yes.
next Friday.
Yeah,
I think let's do the Davidoff, get into the history of that brand, and I'm pretty excited for that.
We have Davidoffs to smoke, and we have Rocky Patels to smoke the following week. So yeah, let's do some Ramadan smoking.
Yep. We'll see you in the next one, guys.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.